Alrighty, friends, back again with another video here today, and we're going to talk about the year 1993, and specifically the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures from the original Playmates Toys line. Yeah, so basically 93 is when all these rare figures came out that everybody searches for today. They're very hard to find. Almost every figure from 93 all the way to 97, when the toy line ended in 97, are pretty much really hard to find. I mean, there's a few in there that you'll find, some of the Universal monsters you can find. I mean, pretty much all the Turtles 3 movies figures are pretty easy to find. But you get into some really rare, hard to get figures at this point. And that's basically because the Turtles were real big at the end of the 80s, early 90s. When you start getting into like the mid 90s, they kind of died down a little bit. I believe in 95. The cartoon, I believe, ends in 96. I believe one or two of the comic book lines ended in like 95 or 96, because there's several different, you got different comic book series, and you got the Cartoon Adventures one and the original one and all those. So you had two of them end, and then you had the cartoon finally end, which the cartoon was the big selling point for them selling the action figures. So that all happens 95, 96. By 97, they end the original toy line here from Playmates. So it's a sad story. But yeah, these figures are really hard to come by, most of them anyways. Like I said, there's a few that you'll be able to find out there, but they become scarce because honestly, they didn't produce as many as they did of the earlier Turtles from the 80s and the early 90s. So you got these ones because they weren't selling as many. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, we do got some figures here today, and we're going to talk about these four that you see before you. The original 1993 basic figures, there was only 7 that were released. These 4 right here, and then of course the Holy Grail of Grails, the Scratch figure, and which I don't have. And then you have Hothead, and I'll put up the photos here of these guys. And then you had the other one I don't have here is the sidekick to this one, which would be Robotic Rocksteady. So yeah, unfortunately missing those 3, but I do have these 4 right here. So we'll get a closer look at them and see what's going on. Alrighty, so we'll start with my favorite here, which is Sandstorm. And I've been saying for a while, I think said in previous videos, I pulled this guy out and I'm like, when are we going to get a Sandstorm Ultimates by Super 7 or NECA or someone going to make this figure? Because for some reason I just like the camel. I don't know, it's a very unique, cool looking figure. Why can't we come out with it? So yeah, I don't know, we need a mutated camel person. But as you can see, I don't have any accessories, but I will post him in his original packaging so you guys can see. I believe did he come with a magic carpet, I think? He's like an Aladdin type character. But he's a camel, because you gotta go out in the desert and the Arabian Nights and all that fun stuff. But I believe he has one of them like Arabian swords, and as you can see in the picture, and then he has like a little magic carpet or something. I don't know, they go crazy with this stuff. But I actually enjoyed, like, I think I was pretty much past my prime as far as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle kid. At this point, I might have been still into it, but not as much as I was in my younger years. But yeah, so I don't remember these guys as well until like the aftermarket, like nowadays as an adult collector. But I do like this. I do like this camel, this Sandstorm figure. Very cool, very cool. And like I said, his rarity, I don't really see him. I've only come across one out in the wild, which I grabbed. I picked him up at a thrift store. I don't even know how much I paid, probably like $5 or something for this guy. And this was several years ago. We're talking like a decade or longer, 15 plus years ago or something that I've had this guy. Because I mean, I've been collecting for a while, but I kind of didn't get into it right away. Like I haven't been doing it my whole life or anything, but like I'd get into it for a while, collect, and then I kind of stopped and I got back into it, but I always kept the figures around. But yeah, he is really cool figure. Okay, anyways, I'm just going on and on about this, but yeah, I do want an ultimate figure or a recreation of this figure in some form. I do like the Playmates figure. It's cool. So let's wait for that to happen. And we'll take a look at this guy real quick since he's just sitting right here. Now, this is obviously robotic Bebop, as you can tell by his, robotic mohawk-looking thing he's got going on there. And these figures are pretty cool. See, mine's missing. He had like missiles or something that came off on his shoulder pad things. And unfortunately, I don't have those on this figure. And you can also see this, like, you see like the metallic coloring of the robot, and you see these like little patches here. You got like all like white, and basically that's just where the paint's worn off, and you're seeing the original plastic coating or whatever they printed it on, and then they probably painted it the metallic color. So yeah, a lot of times you'll get them like this, and this one's actually in pretty decent shape compared to some. Some I've seen have turned all the way, they're all the way that pale color rather than any kind of metallic. And they're usually missing the missiles, and sometimes they're missing hands. For some reason, a lot of times these robotic figures are missing their hands. But yeah, overall, he's actually in pretty good shape. But the same thing goes for robotic Bebop, or I mean not Bebop, Rocksteady. The same kind of condition with these robot figures. But overall, pretty cool. This is one I will definitely hang on to because, like I said, they're pretty hard to come by. But he's not as hard as like the other ones that are in this to find. Like you can probably get him on eBay. I'm going to say $25, $30, missing everything. Probably one similar to this condition, maybe missing a hand or something. They'll try to get you to pay $20 for it. But yeah, up to you guys. But yeah, still pretty cool figure. Alright, so let's take a look at this guy right here. Now this is Jeffrey the Giraffe. You might have seen him on the Toys R Us commercials. Gotta get his, no. I think that's his name, right? Jeffrey the Giraffe from Toys R Us. I don't even know if there's any Toys R Us left in the United States. I think, as far as the store you can go to, I think it's all online. Canada, I think, might have a store or something, but yeah, I don't think so anyways. I might be wrong about that. I know they closed down all the ones around my area years ago. But no, this is half court, as you may have guessed, and he has a basketball rim around his neck. You got the net and everything going on there. He's the number 34. Don't have any accessories with him, but I will post up his box here for you guys to see what he came with. Now, he's in pretty good shape. Now, they consider this a harder to find figure, and it seems like as the years are going by now, you don't see him nearly as, often. But I used to run into this guy all the time. Back in the day, I feel like I came across this at least 5 or 6 times years and years and years ago when I used to go shopping around for the flea markets and stuff. So I don't know how rare he actually is. Maybe I should have picked up all the ones I came in contact with and kept them. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. I do have this guy. I don't know if I have any in storage somewhere, but yeah, this is him. This is the guy right here. 1993 Mirage Studio Playmates Toys. Fantastic. But yeah, guys, so that is it. That is Jeffrey the Giraffe, also known as Half Court. Pretty cool character and all. I don't remember much about him if he was on the cartoon. It's, like I said, by this period of time, I was kind of not as big as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan as a kid. I don't know what I was into, probably like Power Rangers or something. But yeah, that is Half Court. So let's move on to the last one out of the 4 basics that I have. And as you can see, this is Mona Lisa, which I do remember a little bit about Mona Lisa, but not much. Now, you can see her box is yellowing, the plastic. Not in the best shape, but she has all her accessories still in the original package. So she's basically mint. Her box has definitely seen better days. But overall, the box is even not too bad shape, just the plastic part. But we'll look at the back here just to get a closer look. Again, just all the different characters, the bad guys and the good guys that you can get. And then her weapons that she comes with right here. And there's a save coupon, 1 pizza point right there. We'll make sure you want to get those out. If you find this, these are probably not valid anymore. But here's the portrait of Mona Lisa, just some details. Information about her, that's cool to have. And down here it says 1992, but of course it was released in 93. So they had these sitting back there waiting for their release date for at least a year, like most figures though. But overall, like I really like the NECA's version of Mona Lisa they came out with. It was cool to see that. Of course, I don't open my NECA figures, and I don't have this one open, so I have not had an open Mona Lisa in my hand. But I had to say she's pretty cool looking. Definitely dig it. Glad I got a hold of this. Now, I got lucky because this is probably a rare find. I don't know how often you find Mona Lisa in her original packaging, but it's probably been, I don't know, I probably had this for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. I've had it for a while. Just already back again, had a sudden disconnect there. But all I was saying is I've had this figure for quite a while. I think 4 or 5 years at least, maybe longer. And I got lucky because I came across somebody that had several of these in boxes. And I got, I think, 4 Aprils in the original packaging like this and her all together for like $40, maybe $50, but it wasn't any more than that. I don't precisely remember. I just remember it being a good deal. I mean, April is probably the least favorite selling figure, I would say. Well, maybe that's probably not true, but she isn't one of the big characters at all, because these are probably targeted more towards boys, I'm sure. And yeah, no, I guess little boys don't want April. I don't know. But it might be a reason why Mona Lisa is rare too, because maybe she wasn't purchased a lot. They didn't produce a lot of her. I don't know, but April's all over the place. And you can pretty much find most Aprils and get them rather cheap, even in the original packaging. You can probably get them for $30 on eBay still. But Mona Lisa is an exception to that, as she is quite expensive, I believe. I don't know. I'm going to say she's probably like at least $100 in the original packaging. I don't know for sure. She might be more than that, but I'd have to really look her up. I haven't looked any of these guys up, but I will say I did go on there and looked up Scratch and Hotspot just to see where they're going at nowadays. And I swear, it was probably like when I first started getting into these things again, because I had a bunch of figures before I went off to school. You know, I moved out, went off to school, and I sold all my old action figures because, you know, my mom's like, get those things out of the attic, you know, do something with them. You got your own place now. So I cleared out all my old kid stuff, and I remember taking the figures to some local place. It wasn't a GameStop, but they had a lot of video games. It was like a video games plus store, and they used to buy action figures. And I just had all these. I was a big Spider-Man fan when I was a kid, so I had all the Spider-Man action figures that came. I actually kept some of them. I even have them nowadays. Like, I kept some figures I was attached to even as an adult that I just remembered as a kid playing with. And so I kept some of the figures, but most of them I just gave to this place, and they completely ripped me off, because that's what most places do. You give them, like, especially like building places, they're all like, oh, we'll give you a great deal on the figures, and then you know, give them the figures, and then they you go in there the next day, and your figure's under the glass thing for, you know, 10 times more than what you got out of it. But I remember taking all my figures into this place, and I had like a bunch of old wrestling figures from the 90s. I had like the little Hasbro figures, and then I had like the Jakks. I think it was Jakks. Like the little rubbery. They weren't great looking. Not like today's wrestling figures. But I had them. I had Turtles. I had Spider-Man. Probably some Spawn or something in there. And a bunch of different figures. And they probably gave me like, you know, 50 cents, $1 per figure. You know, some of them, like, I remember, because I didn't really care at this point, because I needed the cash, right? I just moved into my own place, and, you know, just out of school, and, you know, struggling with my girlfriend, trying to get new furniture and shit. So yeah, I gave them like probably a couple hundred action figures, and they gave me less than $1 for most of them. And I'd get all excited when I seen one of them for like $5. I remember like an Undertaker I had was like, I think they gave me like $6 for him. I was like, oh my God, it's awesome, because compared to all the other prices there, everything else. Then I went back in there a couple weeks later just to see what they had, because at this time I was actually collecting video game systems, and I looked in there and seen my figures with the tags and everything on them, and I'm like, dude, I bought the Undertaker they bought from me, they had in there for like $60. I'm like, you guys gave me $6 and you're selling it for $60. But just a stupid story. I don't know. I'm getting away from the review of the figures here and talking about dumb stuff. Just know, just if you are a collector, or you're, you know, of any toy line, whatever age you are, you know, hold on to the stuff. If it's something that was meaningful when you were a kid or whatnot, if it was meaningful, hold on to it. Wait until you're older, like, you know, in your 30s, 40s. And if you don't want them, then get rid of them. because then you're going to go back and try to collect these things again. Some people do, some people don't. I guess it really just depends on your lifestyle and what you like to do, but it is a hobby of mine. But anyways, guys, enough about these story time. I went on and rambled for 4 minutes talking about this. But let's move on to some more figures and talk about what you guys came here to watch. And I just realized that I didn't even get to my point. I went to that long story about how I sold my figures and got ripped off. And then totally forgot what I was getting at. No, I went on eBay and I looked up the 2 rare figures, Hotspot and Scratch, which Scratch is like ridiculous prices. But yeah, on eBay, I seen the cheapest Hotspot was like $600, I think. And the cheapest Scratch, I think, was about closer to $1,000. It might have been slightly under, maybe $850 with no accessories and okay condition, not broken or anything. And yeah, I remember, like, I don't know, 15 years ago when I first started getting into collecting these guys, and I was just looking up some of the rare figures. And like I said, pretty much all the stuff I got here, all the figures you see in my videos, were all gotten from flea markets and stuff like that. I didn't buy a lot from eBay. Probably 95% was out in flea markets. I got them cheap, a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. Mostly in the single digits for most of these figures when I got them. And some of them are in really good shape. But as far as eBay goes, I don't go there often because the prices vary so, rapidly. Sometimes you'll find figures in really good shape with no accessories for, cheap, and then you'll find some with accessories for slightly more but look like crap. I don't know. It's iffy, plus you gotta trust people. When you see the stuff in hand, you can find out in the wild, you can look it over and be like, okay, I'll pay $1 for this. You know what I mean? But if you're paying $30, $40, $50 for a figure, don't have it in hand, and then you get a nice surprise when it's delivered to your house. So often, more than less, I'll go out and find this stuff rather than purchase from eBay if I can. But I haven't really been doing that in a while. But anyways, the whole point of this is, yeah, Scratch is like, I've seen them. I don't know if I found any in box. Most of the ones in box, I've seen one on there for like $4,000 that was graded. I've seen a couple for $1,000, a little over $1,000 in the box. So I don't know. His price seemed to go up quite a bit because I remember bidding on this guy, like I said, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, on eBay. It was the one figure I was going to bid on because I didn't think I was going to find it in a while, which I still haven't. Haven't found him or Hotspot out in the wild yet. Never came across them. And like I said, I've been searching for a while off and on. But yeah, go on there and ridiculous prices. Like I remember bidding on Scratch like 15 years ago. I remember getting up to like $300 and I backed off. And I think it sold for like $300. I think I was the dude that outbid me. I was at like $250. He outbid me for $300, and I was like, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not gonna spend $300 on an action figure from my childhood. Screw it. I'll find it in the wild, which I didn't. Wish I would have just outbid this guy now. But yeah, just to say, it went from $300 is what that auction went for, and now you're talking 15 years later, $700 for a loose figure, or $700 more, almost $1,000 for a loose figure. I don't know. You guys tell me. But anyways, I'm rambling. This video is going to be super long, and you guys are getting no looks at these things because I'm just bullshitting. But these are the Universal monsters, as you could guess from me, chatting here and just showing them for 5 minutes. Well, it was like 2 minutes, but 3 minutes, whatever. But anyways, we got this guy over here, which is Michelangelo as Frankenstein, and then we got Raphael as the Mummy. I believe Raphael glows in the dark. I think the Wolfman might too. I'd have to turn the lights out just to make sure they still work. But yeah, and then we got Don as Dracula, which Don's my man, you know what I'm saying? So he had to make sure he had all his accessories. So he is complete. He's one of the few figures that I have from 1993 that has all his accessories. Most of them don't have any. But yeah, so that's what we got here, Universal Monsters. So let's just take a look at him here. As you can see, he has his like bat bow staff, I think is what they call that. They call this a wooden stake, but I'm pretty sure we've seen that from another figure in one of the earlier lines, and they're just kind of throwing it back at us. And then on his wrist right here, he has a little bat. I don't know how well you guys can see that bat that attaches to his wrist. Then he has this like little medallion with the bat face. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that is what he came with. And overall, this is this Dawn is in a really good shape. I don't see too much markup, too many marks or anything on him. He's really good. Now, I don't think they remade these guys yet. Let's see, we look on the bottom of his feet here. We got Dracula on this side. Man, this is flipping them all over the place. 1993 Mirage Studios Playmates. So there you go. Just to show that he is original. Now, like I said, I don't think these guys came out as reproductions yet. They did do reproductions of the figures I'm going to talk about after these guys. But with these guys, they haven't. Now, if they do, I'm going to buy them. I'm going to look these up just to make sure afterwards, because I'm not 100% sure. But I don't think there's reproductions of the original Universal Monster Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line. But if there is, I'm going to purchase it. I'll probably do a comparison video, because I do like getting sometimes the reproductions, but especially if I like the series, like I do like the Universal Monsters. So I wouldn't mind getting some reproductions and comparing them. So yeah. But yeah, I like Dawn here in his like purplish cape. You got them bat wings right there. He's got the fangs. He's got that ring going on his finger. Yeah, he's looking bat-tastic, or whatever lame word they would use in them Dracula type movies. But yeah, so there is Dawn as Dracula. And then we got Leonardo the Wolfman right here. And like I said, I'm not 100% positive or not. I don't think, maybe he doesn't glow in the dark. Maybe it's just the mummy. I was thinking maybe the white part on him did, but I don't think so. I'd have to double check that for you guys. But I'll check it out after I'm done with the video, and then I'll just put it in text or something at the bottom if he does glow in the dark. If not, you won't see anything. But yeah, overall, you know, you see little marks, like especially when there's like white, like the white on the outfits and stuff, usually can be pretty marked up, and you can see little marks and dings and everything going on with him. And yeah, so he's not perfect. He's definitely got some marks. I can probably get that off if I cleaned him real good. But yeah, overall, everything else, I don't see like paint marks just getting blurred up there. I don't see a lot of paint marks or paint rub or anything, just the marks from stuff rubbing up on him. Being stored with other figures and stuff, that tends to happen. Or that might have just been before I even got him. Who knows? But I usually keep them in their own little bag and store it away from the rest so that doesn't happen, you know, in case they rub up on each other. But yeah, he looks pretty good overall, though. You know, pretty decent. Like the Wolfman, no accessories, so we'll post up the picture and you can see what he came with. But yeah, you gotta love these Universal Monsters, definitely. So we'll just put him over here. If he's gonna fall forward, he fell down. We'll grab Michelangelo as Frankenstein. And if you guys haven't checked out the new NECA figures where they're doing these guys, they're pretty decent. You know, but for the time, you know, it was cool seeing this Playmates make this Frankenstein and Dracula and all that. Really cool. These have been figures, even if I wasn't, you know, a kid into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as much as I was before, these still would have been cool figures to get my hands on. Very cool. But, yeah. So anyways, overall, this guy, same idea. He has a few paint rub marks here and there, but nothing I probably couldn't easily get off. I just took him to the cleaner, a little bit of dust maybe. But, yeah. Very cool figure. Michelangelo is Frankenstein. So we'll put him back over here. And last but not least, the fourth one here, and I believe he does glow in the dark still. But we'll double check, and if he doesn't for some reason, I will say in the text. But same idea with him, just that white lighter coat of paint. He's got little marks and dings and stuff all over him. But not too bad. I don't know if we can read his foot. No, it's going to be really hard. May come out better on video. But yeah, the Mummy Raphael here looks pretty cool. I think they changed these up. I don't think... Was Michelangelo? Maybe Michelangelo was the Mummy. Yeah, he's still the Mummy. Well, Raphael isn't the Mummy, but Michelangelo is the Mummy in NECA. I keep getting confused here. I think Raphael actually... Who did Raphael play? I'm trying to look. Was he Frankenstein? Yeah, so Frankenstein, they switched places. Frankenstein was Raphael, and Michelangelo was the mummy on the NECA line. And I don't think we haven't gotten a Dracula or Wolfman yet, I don't think. But pretty cool, guys. This is the first series. They did 2 series, I think, of, was it 2 or 3? I think 2 series of the Universal Monster crossover with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the original Playmates line. I believe in 94 is where you get, like, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I think that might be Frankenstein's Bride with April, or was she the year after? I don't know. But there's one more line of like 4 or 5 figures that you can get with these guys, but this is the 1993 guys. And like I said, if I find these reproduced, I will probably pick them up and do a review of just them together. But very cool figures. I'm a big horror fan, big turtle fan. Perfect matchup for me. Awesome. Anyways, let's move on to the next stuff. Alright guys, so these 4 figures right here are from a series called Sewer Heroes. Now let's take a look at this one right here. First, this is Super Mike, and you can tell mine's in kind of rough shape. He's got the dominant like blue color. It's probably all blue underneath all the paint job here, and you can definitely see it coming off on the face. So that's missing paint. He's got it on his gloves. He's got it back here on his mask. So overall, he's definitely in rough shape as far as missing paint. Which is something I'm not going to be able to just wipe off. So I'll probably want to find a better one that's less paint rub like this one. He's probably in the roughest shape of the 4 that I have. But, I think all of them have some wear and tear because these were probably played with. Pretty cool figures. I could see me playing with these as a kid. I don't know if I had these figures as children. Or as a child, I should say, not as a children. But who knows English? I don't know. But anyways, this figure is in pretty rough shape, but he's overall, I mean, appearance-wise, he's a little rough, but everything else seems to be working. His arms, his legs, his head. So everything's good there. Now, all these superheroes do have that function where they're, they can twist their waist around to get them to, however you want to do it, spin around, hit somebody. So they all have that superhero thing about them. But, yeah, so this is Super Mike. Pretty cool figure. Love the cape. He's got a whole Superman vibe. He's wearing the red and the blue. And, of course, for some reason, his knee pads and elbow pads are still going to be orange along with his mask because we got to be able to tell it's Michelangelo, right? So, anyways, Super Mike. Now, this guy right here, we'll take him off his stand, is Rhino Man. And as far as his paint goes, he's actually pretty good. You can see on his knuckles and on his boot, which is pretty common. Some paint a little bit right there. And then, of course, there's rub off on his nose. And as you can see, the dominant paint color was obviously orange underneath this. So we got little tips of orange on the ends and then on the tip of the horn there and on the knuckles. But, I mean, he's in better shape than Super Mike overall. So he's not bad. I mean, I could keep this in the collection. I'm not somebody that's going to touch up the original, so whatever it looks like is what it looks like. But like I said, I will get the reproductions, and I'll do a little comparison video. So I think that'd be cool. So I'm definitely going to do that with these. And if they come out with reproductions of the Universal, which they might already have, I'm not sure, I'll do a review of comparison with those too. So stay tuned when I get around to that. But cool figure, though. I do like Rhino Man. This might be my favorite. Even though I do like Dawn's figure because he looks sort of like he's trying to, copy Batman. I'm not sure what Rhino's taken off after. Is this like Aquaman maybe? I'm not sure. He has like the green and then he has the orange. Makes me think Aquaman. But who knows? He's got that purple cape, purple mask. Rhino Man. Cool stuff though. Cool stuff. Just to make sure we're not 1993. So there we go. Always want to check the dates. If you're going to find these out in the wild, you want an original, make sure you look at them dates because they should be different. Every comparison I've done with reproductions, especially the newer ones, have the right date. They don't have, 93 or something on there. A little blurry. There we go. 93, Mirage Studios. But yes, this is Super Dawn, as you can guess. And like I said, he has a lot of times when you find this guy, he's missing these because they're kind of fragile. You could easily break these off if you wanted to. But yeah, usually his ears or wings or whatever you want to call these, sort of like Batman, usually are broken off, which is unfortunate, but you find them a lot like that. Now, I don't think these guys are necessarily like super rare, but to find them in good condition, like this one I would consider good condition. I don't even see like much paint rub off or anything. But there's the date, if we can, 1993. But yeah, so I think he looks like Batman, but almost like just the way this looks right here. He's a T. It kind of makes me think of like the Green Lantern or something. But I'm thinking this is supposed to be Batman. But cool stuff. Cool figure. I do like him. And then we got this one right here, the Mighty Bebop. And I'm not sure who he's taken after. First look at him. I mean, you would think the villains would maybe taken off the villains, but this is called Super Bebop. So, or Mighty Bebop. My mistake. Mighty Bebop, not Super Bebop. But I think they're all supposed to be good guys then, right? That's not really a villain name, Mighty Bebop or Rhino Man. That doesn't sound, I mean, I guess. But cool stuff. Let's see what we got here. 1993 Mirage Studio. You can see that one really well, at least. But yeah, definitely there's reproduction of these guys. Check them out. You definitely see some paint rub off on the nose a little bit. It seems like always on his snout, unless that's supposed to be like that. Maybe it's supposed to be like that, and that isn't rubbed off. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be like that. I was gonna say you can notice, usually, but that actually looks like it's in pretty decent shape. Yeah, not a lot of wear and tear. This one might be, Dawn's probably in the best shape, and then I would say this one is in good shape. So I don't know if I would, if I found a better Rhino Man, I'd probably replace it. Definitely want to find a different mic. But this isn't bad either. He's got a little bit on his knuckle there, I see. But yeah, so there you are, Mighty Bebop. Pretty cool figure. Now, I talked a lot with this video, so I'm going to try to end it here soon because I yapped on too long. But I wanted to go over this figure real quick too because he was kind of by himself in the line. This was the Farmer Turtles is what they call them. He had a big green tractor, which I'll put the picture up like I always do of them in the box. But he came with a big green tractor he would ride on, but this is Farmer Mike. So, yeah, he's got that whole little outfit in there. And these are hard to find, believe it or not. These figures are not easy to come by. I believe they made 2 Farmer figures. I might be wrong, but I think they made a Raphael and a Mike. But I could be wrong about that. I might have been like Leonardo or Donatello or someone. But I know for sure there was 2 Farmer Turtles. If there was 4 of them, I don't recall. I'll have to do my research. But I know for sure there's another one. And it comes out, I think, in 94 or 95. We'll double check. But as far as this guy goes, I don't know if these things, I've never even seen many of these out in the wild, man. I don't even remember where I got this guy. But he is in really good shape. I don't see hardly any paint rub, if any, at all. Maybe a little bit there on the hat. He has some missing paint or something, but he looks good. This is a really good figure. Only if I had that big green tractor that he could ride on, that would be cool. Don't know when I'm going to find that. If I'm going to find that, I'd probably have to fork out the money on eBay. But yeah, just wanted to show this Farmer Mike off. Now, that is it that I'm going to show with this video. This will probably be a part 3 at least. I got to go through all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie 3 figures, which there's a bunch of those. That might be one part by itself, and then I have some stragglers from different parts. Like there's the Toon figures, there's Trolls, there's the Ninja Turtles, the Ninja figures that do like somersaults and stuff, and then you got some mutations and ones that turn into like Transformers that turn into like vehicles and shit too. Bunch of figures in 93, and like I said, 94 is sort of like 93. It had a bunch of rare figures. Well, not a bunch. I think 93 had more. But 94 has some figures, and it kind of dies off, man. The line kind of dies. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't have a ton of figures because there wasn't a whole lot of action figures made in the last few years. And the ones that are made are super rare or just, ridiculous to find. So we'll do our best with the 94 to 97. I'm probably just going to combine them all into one video for you guys, but we'll get to that when we get to that. We still got 2 more parts probably to do here. I'll do, like I said, the movie 3 Turtles, and then we'll go and get the stragglers that are left on this line, which I named them already. Don't want to repeat myself. Too long of a video already. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Alrighty, guys, and just in case you were wondering if these guys glow in the dark, we do have Mummy Raph and Leonardo Wolfman back there glowing. And if you can slightly see, back there is Dracula. He has some light up to him too, and even Frankenstein by his feet is lighting up a little bit. Not as good as these two are doing. But yeah, so I guess all those Universal monsters do have a glow-in-the-dark feature that still works with my figures. But you really can't see Dracula's too well, or Frankenstein's, but they're definitely there. But yeah, you can see these two real well. Pretty cool that they still work and still shine. Just like my other glow-in-the-dark things in the room that are doing, if you can see all this stuff. But now we're just in the black abyss. But yeah, cool figures, guys. Just wanted to point that out.